another year.
You are the longest tenured Eagle player. And I've told people this before. There's nothing like Philly. The talk radio's loud, the reporting, the fans. I mean, Oklahoma's crazy as well. But if you were telling a young guy that's coming to Philadelphia, okay, you got to get ready. Philadelphia is different. How would you describe it?
It's a perfect football city. It's a place they feel like they even take it a step farther than maybe Texas. It's a religion. It's in their bones. It's in their DNA. And really, I mean, they want max effort out of their players. And, I think for me, it's allowed, the pressure of the city's allowed me to become a better player and the standards that they have. So, all in all, I'm very thankful to be a part of a city that cares about football as much. And it's just an amplifier. The energy we put out in the field, when we're winning, it's all good. And when we're not performing well, you'll hear about it. So it's what it is.
Yeah.
I have to say, I genuinely love that response. Honestly, listening to it gave me actual chills, because it serves as such a powerful reminder of just how exhilarating sports can be when you are truly invested. When the stakes feel personal. When you pour your entire emotional capacity into a game, a team, a single moment. That level of commitment is rare, and it's electrifying to witness. And this brings me to Philadelphia, a city that is almost always painted in a harsh, unflattering light by the national media. The narrative is predictable, the fans are over the top, they're irrational, they're hostile. You've heard it all before. But here's the fascinating contradiction: the players, and I'm not just talking about Eagles stalwarts like Lane Johnson, but even athletes who have never worn that jersey, they genuinely appreciate what Philly offers. Why? Because it's an extraordinary environment. It's raw, unfiltered, and intense. These competitors crave significance. They want the moment to carry weight, to feel monumental, and Philadelphia delivers that in spades. It's just so refreshing to witness that kind of unbridled passion. If you've ever watched even 30 seconds of my content, it's immediately apparent that I am a high-energy, intense individual. I'm always in go mode. So, in many ways, Philly embodies that same ethos for me. That relentless drive resonates deeply. Among all the teams I've covered, Philadelphia stands out as the most prominent example. Thug. I'm sure there are a few others that come close. Now, let's talk about what happens when a team loses. When they're eliminated from playoff contention, or they drop a crucial postseason game, the atmosphere usually evaporates. Instantly. People check out. They scatter. And I completely understand why. I'm not criticizing that reaction. It's just the natural conclusion of a season's journey. However, the contrast is stark. For instance, I operate primarily on a basketball-focused channel, churning out numerous videos on the OKC Thunder. They suffer a defeat, and the viewership plummets. It becomes almost pointless to produce content because the engagement vanishes. I could deliver the most compelling monologue, but it simply wouldn't matter. Nobody is watching. So, before I dig deeper, allow me a brief interjection for my Philadelphia Eagles fans. Please, do not forget to subscribe and watch the full-length videos. When you commit to that, the metrics soar, views skyrocket, subscribers multiply. But let me be crystal clear, this is not about chasing arbitrary numbers. It's about having the capacity to create Philadelphia Eagles content that people genuinely want to engage with and debate. It's about fostering the most unbiased, grounded, and honest conversations possible about this team. Your support in watching the entirety of the content makes an immense difference, and I genuinely appreciate it. To further illustrate my point, let's revisit a period when the Eagles lost to the 49ers. I was producing a high volume of Eagles content, and I faced some criticism. A few individuals complained, suggesting I should move on, stop dwelling on the loss, and shift focus to the team still competing. One commenter essentially told me to get over it. I didn't need to produce a video explaining the absurdity of that suggestion. The popularity of Philly speaks for itself. But the crucial factor is this: even after that loss, the conversation persisted. We could continue dissecting the game. Viewers still wanted to discuss it. They remained engaged. Compare that to the Baltimore Ravens. They failed to make the playoffs, and it was a ghost town. Utter silence. It's not merely a matter of fan base size either. The Dallas Cowboys, for example, boast a massive following. Yet, when they're eliminated, it's a ghost town. vanished. You want to discuss the Cowboys? Analyze what went wrong? No. Nothing. Just empty promises about winning it all next year. With Philly, however, it was a different story. No, let's delve into this. Let's figure out where things went astray. Let's continue this dialogue. Let's unpack every detail. The 49ers lose, and it's non-existent. The conversations simply evaporate. Honestly, I cannot recall another team that matches this level of sustained engagement. At one point, I thought the Detroit Lions might be that team. They were the most viewed team in 2024, generating massive buzz. They lose, and I'm ready to keep talking. But the engagement just plummets. It's surprising. This is an observation I make constantly. When a team loses, my post-game clips often underperform unless there's an element of controversy or sheer embarrassment that people can mock. If it's just a straightforward loss, the clip is practically invisible. Minimal comments. Some views, but the energy is entirely different. Conversely, when a team wins, the energy is palpable. Now, to be fair, if the Eagles win, the excitement is exponentially higher. But here's the remarkable part, even when the Eagles lose, it's still a party. That's how much they cherish football, and I absolutely love it. Let's use viewership as a barometer for discussion popularity. When the Seattle Seahawks won the Super Bowl, my post-game clip garnered about 1,800 views. The Chicago Bears' insane comeback against the Green Bay Packers? 3,400 views. The Rams beating the Panthers? 1,000 views. Now, contrast that with the Philadelphia Eagles losing to the 49ers, 8,000 views and 301 comments. Aaron Rodgers, potentially playing his final game of a Hall of Fame career at the time, lost and pulled in 1,500 views and 47 comments. Josh Allen losing to Bo Nix and the Broncos? 6,000 views and a staggering 833 comments, which is absolutely wild. Bo Nix winning but injuring his ankle? 4,500 views. The Chicago Bears losing an insane overtime game to the Rams? 2,200 views. Now, compare all of that to my post-game clip when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Remember the Seahawks' 1,700 views? The Eagles? Nearly 59,000. That's the intensity. That's the caliber of engagement that makes being around this fan base so incredible. That's what Lane Johnson is referring to, though he obviously experiences it firsthand on the field. I'm just analyzing the data, the views, the comments, the general energy, and it's simply awesome to witness. The San Antonio Spurs are another example. I created a wave of Wembanyama content, riding the momentum. The moment they lost, it fizzled out completely. And that's a genuine shame because it squashes the conversation. The volume is dialed down significantly, and the intensity evaporates. This is precisely what makes a fan base like Philly so extraordinary. Regardless of the outcome, they show up. That's why they're such a frequent topic of discussion. I've repeated this numerous times, but it bears reiterating for this context. We discussed the Philadelphia Eagles more during this past offseason, immediately after the confetti fell from the Super Bowl, than we discussed the Seahawks, the Rams, the Chiefs, or the Bills. And it's not just me driving that narrative. You can't attribute it solely to my content creation. They are a constant topic of national conversation. This isn't a me phenomenon, it's a Philadelphia Eagles phenomenon. It's genuinely impressive. I recently engaged in a heated exchange with someone who was clearly a Cowboys fan. He argued that the Eagles fan base wasn't even on the same level as the Cowboys. I systematical. LY dismantled that argument. Yes, the Cowboys have a massive fan base and generate enormous revenue, but that perspective lacks the necessary nuance. There's a reason, despite the Cowboys' size, that shows like First Take, Get Up, First Things First, and The Herd discuss the Philadelphia Eagles as much as, if not more than, the Cowboys. The reason is simple: Eagles fans show up. Sometimes I cringe when people accuse creators of doing things for clicks and views. It's a lazy critique because, fundamentally, that's the nature of the medium. What's the alternative? Discuss nothing? That makes no sense. True click-chasing involves sensationalism, tabloid-style thumbnails, over-the-top titles, and shallow, nonsensical content. I avoided that entirely during the Patriots controversies. Everyone else was diving in headfirst because it was a view magnet, but I wanted no part of it. That's not real conversation. What is real is when a fan base shows up, and the dialogue becomes intense. People who aren't even Eagles fans still engage because the volume is all the way up. You won't find that same level of intensity discussing why the Jaguars lost to the Bills. They have their own fans, and that's fine, but it's not the same. A multitude of people wanted to enter the arena to debate why the Eagles fell to the 49ers or why they ultimately won the Super Bowl. So, from someone who constantly observes the NFL, its fans, and its media coverage, it's abundantly clear to me that things are infinitely more interesting and enjoyable when the volume is maxed out. Whether it's a victory or a defeat, the Eagles manage to maintain that intensity. Always. And for that, I have immense gratitude and appreciation. It's genuinely disappointing to cover a team that loses and immediately loses all traction. You think, wait, there's still so much to talk about here. There's still value in analyzing what happened. But often, the response is simply, nah. And you're left wondering, were you only happy when things were going perfectly? All of this only amplifies my excitement for the upcoming season. I'm thrilled Lane Johnson is returning. Hopefully, the Eagles can be competitive and stay on track, and Johnson can remain healthy. This conversation was a refreshing change of pace from the norm, so I wanted to share those thoughts. Now, I would genuinely love to hear yours. What are your perspectives on the Philadelphia Eagles, the city, and the fans? I know many Eagles fans will speak positively, but I'm equally curious about the non-Eagles fans in the comments right now. Be honest. Be grounded. Avoid trolling. Where do you see Eagles fans as distinct from your own fan base or other fan bases in general? Let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment, whether we agree or disagree. Let's spark some discussions, maybe even some healthy debates, but ultimately, let's just have fun. Please consider subscribing. We're building an incredible community here, and I would love for you to be a part of it. My goal is to create content that resonates and connects us all. I believe we're well on our way. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, it genuinely helps with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you next time.